good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my lecture on how to prepare research proposal. I'm Dr. Gambrot Kaido, an academic advisor at the International University. Today, I will give you a lecture on how to prepare research proposal by considering the basic structure of the research proposal. So, in this class, we will cover the meaning of research, components of the first chapter, which is an introductory part of our research proposal, the components in the second chapter, which is the literature review part of our proposal, the components of the third chapter, which is the methodology, research methodology part of our proposal. Finally, plan of activities and references will our topic to cover in this lecture. So, if you have any suggestion, any questions, please keep in mind and bring it at the end of my presentation. Keeping this in mind, let us proceed our lecture on by just addressing what's a research proposal. Research proposal is a written plan that tell us how we go while we conducting our research. It will cover the components such as background information, research questions, objectives, literature review, research methodology, time plan, expected outcome, budget, and references. Having this concept, we'll proceed to the next section of our class, which is the first chapter of our proposal. The first chapter of our proposal will consider introduction, and this introduction will have a background of our study. Background of our study just addresses the importance and the potential contribution of our research topic, and we will state the ideas. We'll explain the ideas from general to specific or from global to local. Nextly, we will have a settlement of the problem that states the specific problems that our research aims to address and identify research gaps. Generally, the settlement of problem gives idea on why we conducting this topic. Then we'll have our research questions. The questions to be answered in our research objectives, specific and general objectives that we will address in our research, the hypothesis. There will be some tentative statements that we will test through our data analysis. And these tentative statements will be derived from previous research findings or existing theories that relates to our topic under study. Also, we'll have significance of study. What significance of our study to the study area, to the business community, to the overall community, and for the future researchers should be stated in the significance of study. Next, we should have scope of our study, and the scope of our study will be specified geographically, conceptually, methodologically, as well as we have any factors that limiting our study, we have to state in this part in the scope of the study. Next, we'll have a definition of key terms for our research. We have to define the important terms that we are going to use in our research. And finally, we'll have organization of our study, which just depends on the structure and the chapters that we will cover in our research, and the contents of each chapters, the topic that we'll consider in each chapter will be just addressed and the organization of a study part of our research proposal. This is what we will just incorporate in the first chapter on introductory part of the our research proposal. Nextly, we'll have a review of literature or literature review. In this part, we'll have conceptual review for our research. Conceptual review just focuses on defining the concepts that relate to our research topic. Also, nextly, we'll consider the theoretical review. In theoretical review part, we'll review the existing theories that just supports our research and how those theories relate to our research should be specified. Also, we will have an empirical review. Empirical review will cover the review of direct studies that relates to the topic that we are conducting, and how the findings of previous researchers are related to our study. And in this empirical review, we will have a major idea to develop our hypothesis as well as in the theoretical part of our research. Then we'll have a conceptual review for our conceptual framework. Our research conceptual framework is a scientific model that tells us the relationship between the variables that we will incorporate in our research. Once we conducting, especially the quantitative research, we will have a dependent and independent variables, and the conceptual framework will tell us the relationship between the dependent and independent variables, as well as the influence of moderating variable in our study. Just explain it in the conceptual framework part of our research. Finally, we'll have a literature review gaps for our research. Literature gap will tell us the lack of research in the specific areas, and we have to discuss how our research topic or how our research project will fill those gaps. Next, we will just incorporate the third chapter, which is very important part of our study, and the research methodology. Research methodology is very important part for our study, and in this part, we'll have study area description. We'll just describe our study area in context of geography, economy, political, and social aspects. Nextly, we'll consider the philosophical assumptions that underlying our study. There may be philosophical assumptions such as positivism, which tell us knowledge is objective and supported when we conduct in the quantitative research. We also have social constructivism, which tells us the knowledge is subjective and recommended when we conducting the qualitative research. And the third one is pragmatism. Pragmatism is a mix of positivism and social constructivism. When we conducting the mixed research, our assumption will be pragmatism, research philosophy, or worldview of research. Also, we'll have research approaches. We have to specify what type of approach we will going to incorporate in our research, and this approach may be quantitative research approach, qualitative research approach, or mix it. Nextly, we'll consider the research design for our study. The research design tells us how we analyze data, and they may be cross-sectional, longitudinal, case study, action research, mixed research design, experimental research design, and so on. We have to specify which type of research we are going to employ in this part. Next, we will consider data sources and collection methods for our research. Generally, we will have primary and second data sources. Second data sources are already data that are available online or available in any published documents across different cross-sectional cross sections or different organizations. And the primary data will be data just available within the mind of the people. We will collect this data by interviewing, by distributing questionnaire, by observing, and by making a kind of focus group discussion. And finally, we'll have good data for our research when we just employ the best data collection tool for our research. Also, we'll have data analysis part for our proposal, and data analysis we will have to specify if we employ quantitative and qualitative data analysis tools. Qualitative data analysis tools does not consider any numbers, any quantitative numbers of our data, but quantitative data analysis will consider the numerical data that we have collected, over our research. The numerical data will be analyzed through statistical software such as CPSS, Stata, eViews, Amos, and so on. This also will produce the results in terms of descriptive statistics or inferential statistics in order to have a thorough understanding on the result for our research. Also, we'll have a validity test. Validity test tells us how our research measures the intended measurements, or to what extent our study measures the predicted measurements will be just stated or just confirmed in this validity part. You have to state the validity test types that will apply in our or just employ in our research, and also will employ the reliability test for our research. Reliability test is just what tells us the consistency of our research tool in collecting the data. This tells us the degree to which our tool of data collection produces a consistent result for each item that incorporated in our study. And finally, we will have ethical consideration that guides us how we ethically in collecting data and analyzing data. Our research results should not affect the human beings as well as living things. We have to take care in this part. And finally, we'll have a plan of activities. In plan of activities, we'll have a work plan. Work plan means we have to the list of activities that we are going to do and when to do them. It may be listed or monthly, weekly, quarterly, and so on. There should be a schedule that when we finish our proposal, when we start our final report, when we analyze our data, when we be present and defend our research in academic or in some other research institutions. So the budget part of our proposal will specify the amount of budget that we'll just need for our research, maybe cost of data collection, logistic costs, transportation costs, as well as contingency costs that we will consider for conducting a particular research project. Finally, our research proposal will have a reference, and a reference means we have to have a citation list of citation for the source that we have used in developing our proposal, and we have to use the most recent sources for our research. And while we citing these sources, we have to use American Psychology Association, Moral Language Association, Chicago citation, or just referencing styles for social science research. But we'll use Harvard and IEA for science research, for for natural science researches. It depends on the type of research that we are undertaking. So this is the basic component that we'll consider and how we conduct the research proposal for our research project. And this is end of my today's class. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please welcome. I thank you for attending me.